what you do today as a doctor, I think probably in large part was shaped by what some of the conditions that you went through. Can you discuss that and how that kind of made you practice the way you do?
Yeah, well, my condition was pretty complex, but in a nutshell, basically what I had was extreme neurovascular imbalance. So how did that express? What that basically was that my circulation was so bad in my limbs, right? In a lot of parts of my body, but mainly in my limbs, where it wouldn't support normal joint function. And when I would use the computer, it would get a lot worse. And it was one of those things, I think like a lot of chronic conditions, that the conventional medical model, it's not on their radar. It's not something they can pinpoint. I mean, literally, at one point I went from a very athletic person to someone who couldn't walk for more than a few blocks. Literally, my legs were ice cold from my feet to my knees, and my knees actually, they got so little blood that when I would use them, it would go from ice cold. When I would do exercise, they would get red hot with inflammation and extremely painful. And no one could really explain it. I had some of the best doctors, and they couldn't explain it because there was no tissue damage, there was no bone breaks, right? There was no torn ligaments, so they really couldn't identify it, and it really took me a long time to figure it out. But ultimately, in my recovery, included a lot of things, and one of the main things was a lifestyle change. Because why did this come about? Well, it was a combination of things. It was a combination of mercury toxicity from mercury amalgams from dental work, extreme immune burden from root canals, and extreme lifestyle imbalance, right? Basically, too much computer work after way too much exercise, and a total lack of sleep, right? You put all these things together, and your body becomes very imbalanced. And really, the way I fix all these things, because at this point I'm just about 90% healthy, maybe 95% healthy, and it really showed me a lot of nuances about natural medicine. I mean, in the whole course of it, I had my mercury amalgams removed, I had my root canals removed, I did acupuncture to correct some of the circulatory imbalances. Oxygen multi-step therapy was a big one. And it really shows you a lot of these ins and outs. Because, for instance, with root canals, right? There's the whole controversy of root canals, that they're an immune burden because they're a low-lying infection constantly in your mouth, basically. And I had 3 root canals, and it was interesting because I was able to see the different dynamics. And I had 3 root canals. One of them was cracked, so by any standard, that one was infected. But the other 2 were fine under the conventional dentistry model. When I got those removed, one of them was pretty highly infected. In fact, it actually infected some of the tissues in my jaw underneath. And the other one was a lower level infection. It wasn't very bad. So I got to see the range of it and the range of possibilities. In terms of circulation, for example, a lot of that was helped by lifestyle change, right? Getting a lot of sleep, getting exercise, and not using the computer afterwards, and getting a lot of rest and meditation. Acupuncture fixed a big portion of it. But the little nuances, like oxygen multi-step therapy with a certain supplement fixed it to a greater extent. And oxygen multi-step therapy with a totally different supplement fixed it completely. So you really get to see a lot of these nuances, and it was really important for me, because what you get to see when you go through this kind of ordeal, if you can fix it, is the range of human health and sickness, right? You see, one, how extreme people's behaviors can be relative to what's physiologically healthy. And you also get to see how sick someone can be and how healthy they can be, and all the little ins and outs. Because every time you fix a variable, you see a layer of improvement. So you kind of see how these things interact. And it's been really helpful in practice in general.